She had
There it goes.
You're talking about baseball.
State junior championships.
Oh, wow.
Because you have to walk.
Now, I applied some formatting there. They do have styles here. And if you put your mouse over the different styles, this will apply different looks to it. For example, here's, I got my mouse right here. You see it's styles. I got my mouse right here in a normal. Looks like that. If I choose this, no spacing. This one is heading 1, heading 2, title, subtitle. So street was empty, emphasis, so forth. This is if you want to go ahead and apply a style, but you don't want to go to all the work. So if I, what was a good one? I guess I'll choose this one. Heading 1, that'll change it. Now on mine, notice that it changed the font, changed the size. So what you'll see with these styles is this is a combination of a bunch of changes that you would have made over here. There's a drop down here. And with the drop down, you have another line of different styles you can choose. Like a quote. Not sure how useful that is, but that's how you can apply styles. Now, as always, if you want to undo what you've just done, up here in the upper left-hand corner, clear up there, there's a little arrow going back. And if you click that little arrow, that's right up here, that'll undo your changes. So you can go back to where you want. Now over here in the design tab, so click the design tab that just says right here. We looked at these styles here, but under the design tab, you see how there's something called themes. And if I do the drop down, you see there's another line here. These also apply certain formatting. Here's centered, here's lines distinctive, here's line simple, basic, basic elegant. There's a whole bunch of themes on here. You got to, they call them different things. This is specifically applied to like your line spacing and so forth. You notice over here to the far left is one that's called themes itself, and this is another way of getting it the way it change the way it looks. So it's kind of weird they got different names for all of them, but they're all themes. If you choose this, and if you do the drop down, you see there's different options here. Some of these will apply when you got tables, but as I put my mouse over them, you see it changes some of the fonts, some of the sizes. Facet, integral, ion, organic. So just more of a way of changing it. You also see there's colors over here. And I like to think of all these as themes because they're like predefined. So I can come here and I can change some of the colors.
Could change both. That didn't change the picture, right?
Let me select that. That didn't change anything on that. That's interesting.
You just changed it up at the top.
It could be because I haven't put any tables in here or anything like that. Fonts. You got fonts here. We'll get into more fancy ones. Because what does themes and all these apply? Is like here's banded. This changes a lot of headings and so forth. We haven't defined any of that yet. So all it's doing for us is changing the font, so you don't really see the power of it yet. There's also layout. That this is not so much what it looks like here as it is for printing and if you're going to create a newspaper type thing, you could do that there too. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm going to go back here to the Home tab. And I'm going to go down to the next line. So what I did is I pressed the Enter key. If you need a mouse or anything too, just holler. And I'm going to put down my favorite Chinese restaurants. I like P.F. Chang's. There's a Panda Express. And fried rice. So go ahead and put like 3 items and press Enter after each one. Doesn't matter what you put. You can put restaurants or colors or whatever. We're starting to look at some more structural elements than just typing in sentences. Now you can highlight all 3 of the items you just created, or if you click in front of one of them. So if you click in front of one of your items, and I'm clicking with my left mouse button, I'm just putting my mouse in front of it and clicking. Then up here, if you put your mouse over, it tells you it's a bullet. And you can click this, create a bulleted list. Down here, I click that one, make that bulleted. Did yours not work? This thing. No, you're under Home. So put the bullets.
This thing?
Or the book with
Oh, okay. So if I highlight 2, it'll give me 2 bullets.
yes, it would highlight, put bullets on both lines.
That's good. That's good.
So like here you got cursor to the perfect place. You put this button right there to the left. Yeah.
Wow.
Yours is changing? Oh yeah, that's I'm gonna show that next.
I didn't want it.
Oh. Now if you click one of these, to the right of that is a drop down. I know it's real small on my screen here, but there's this drop down. If you choose the drop down, this will allow you to choose other bullets. So you can do open circles, the square. I don't have no clue what that is. These 4 little arrow and a check mark. I never have done this, but you can define your own bullet. Like if you want to create your own image, if you're kind of an artistic type person. And you can define that new bullet there. I'm gonna choose a check mark.
Can you put tiger in it?
You can put a tiger.
Wow.
Let's see, just out of curiosity. Do the drop down next to it. And this is if you don't choose the button here, but you click the drop down by, then it's possible you can choose a different bullet. But let me see, define a new bullet. You can do symbols. You can choose a picture from your computer. This is where you create your own golden tiger image, and then you could choose that picture. Font. Let's see if I click symbol. Oh, there's a bunch of interesting ones. So I could choose a symbol, I guess. So lots of different options in terms of that. Now, if you got 3 items on your list or 1 item or however many, if you click at the end of the one that has a bullet on it and you press enter, then it'll put a new bullet and you can start typing your next one. Like I also like the byway. Now that's the bulleted items. So that's why you can make your font stand out. And you can see it starts looking a little bit better than just having straight sentences, with changing the fonts. There's also one to the side of it that's numbering. And if you click that, it'll change it to 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can have them numbered, if that's what you're trying to achieve.
Wow.
And again, just clicking this one here. Yeah, sometimes they do. They'll move it in. Yeah. Now, if you do the drop down right beside it, you'll see that there's other options. There's numbering. There's numbers with periods, numbers with parentheses, and this is what you're talking about here. See how when I do the parentheses, it's shifted the text in. Here's Roman numerals, uppercase A through C. Here's the lowercase with parentheses. So you could define even your a new number format, I suppose. I'll choose the Roman numerals. It does. Yeah. If I do an enter after PF Chang's, and then I press my tab, it'll go in. And like you say, you can have a list within a list. Like if I want to list all the things I like at PF Chang's, they're sandwich or chicken wrap, or I haven't ate there forever. Say chicken wrap. And then I press enter. Type Mongolian beef.
Mine's jumping all over the place.
Is it?
Okay, PF changes, and then you do it.
I did enter after PF Chang's, and then I press tab, and that'll create a new level of indentation.
Oh, I see.
See, I got 1 down there. 3, 2, 1.
That's fine. Now, if you wonder how do you fix that, click after and express.
Oh, yes.
Press delete.
I just don't think we're going to talk. Yes.
Now press
I
enter.
was thinking of
And now click after fried rice.
every day, all the time. So much
Press enter.
easier than starting.
Or I'm sorry, delete. Click after fried rice again.
Especially when I was.
Press delete, and then delete again. And then press it. That's weird. Go back to 1 and 2. Then
Yes.
highlight all of it.
Those-
Or the index. And then we're gonna shut off the put the to the right.
That's how they do orange and yellow.
Next one.
It's one,
And then choose one of those options. Well, that was it. Okay.
That is over here.
I guess, yeah, this fits. Very good. Now, there's a decrease in dent and increase in dent here.
Who's that at?
That's a couple buttons over.
Okay, yeah.
If you choose that, that'll put it back like Mongolian beef, and put it back under my main numbering. If you choose the one to the right of it, the increase in dent, then it'll throw it back there. So if you don't got it quite right and you're wondering, well, how do I get it back one level? That's how you do that.
We'll try that again.
Click on the line you want to change. And then up here, you'll see these 2 buttons with lines and a blue arrow. One says decrease in dent when you put your mouse over it, and one says increase in dent when you put your mouse over it. And so when you click those, it'll go up or down level.
You don't have the first one on that side. You keep the first one on the other side.
It's there.
Now, so I keep going, but-
I'm asking myself, why have I never explored these buttons before?
Oh, that's what I'll do is I'll just play with something and learn about it. In some packages, I do it that way too.
Decrease. And he has dots instead of numbers.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
So now we're gonna now that we played with a little formatting there, we're going to create a new document, and we'll create a flyer. And some of you are involved with volunteering, some of you are involved with organizations. So we'll create a flyer advertising something. So how you create a new document is you come up here to the file. That's up here in the upper left-hand corner. And you click the new. New. Now this will come up with that initial screen that we had all those templates, but we want to just choose a blank document. And I'm going to create a flyer advertising an event. In my case, it'll be a pie for dads. Pie for dads. That's pretty bad. I have to steal an idea. That's what my church is doing this Sunday. I don't think I call it that, but so I want to type pie for dads, and you can do whatever event you want. Pie for dads. Oh.
I'll bet pie sounds a lot better than pie.
Okay.
And I pressed enter after that. And I made them all uppercase just so I thought it would look better. But we're going to change the formatting later on. At first, you just put your text in there that you're trying to create. And after church service this Sunday, we will have Pie Day, what do they call it? That's bad. We'll have a celebration for the families. It will be slices of pie for Dad. Okay, so now I'm going to press enter, and maybe I want to put the bullets. I can start off by bulleting it if I wanted to, or I could type my text. That's up to you on how you want to do that. I'm getting ready to put my first bullet, like the time of the event. So if I come up here and I click the bullet list, event starts at 7 p.m. So event starts at 7 p.m. Bring, and I pressed enter after that, and did another bullet. Bring enough pie for your family and others. And celebration is in the cafeteria.
I have a problem, my page went to have this speed.
Let's see.
I hit back and it erased it.
Down the I'll show you.
So
In Word, it helps you if you can't see very well. My eyes aren't very good. They're getting worse, seems like as time goes on. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner is your zoom feature. Yours is set at like a 15% or something, which is why yours is so small. Down here, you can click in this little bar there. You can move it, or you can click the plus and minus to zoom in and out. On your case, if you do the plus, you can get it back up to 100%.
Okay.
Did that change it?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can also actually click this percent down here where it says 100 and mine says 170%. Yours probably says something else. If you click that, it'll pop up and you can choose one of these percents. You can zoom to 200%, 100%, 75%. You can type your own percent in there. You could type 2,000%. Not that you want to, because you wouldn't be able to see anything except for maybe part of a single letter. But you can choose whatever and then click OK. So again, that's just one of the features they give you so that if you need to see things bigger, you can. The one thing I really regret is as my eyes are getting worse, I have a hard time seeing these buttons. And as far as I know, there's no way to make those bigger besides making your screen a different resolution. Now I pressed enter after here and I put another bullet. I don't want a bullet there. Two ways you can get rid of that bullet. You can just press your backspace and press your backspace again and again, and it'll eventually take it to the first character in your line. It gets rid of a lot of the formatting goes on with it. So you just keep doing back until you get rid of that. The other way is with this decrease in dent here. I think that'd get rid of it too. I always just do backspace. But now I got three bullets. I'm trying to think what this looks like on your computer. It seems like down here in the bottom right-hand corner, if you're connected to the internet, I think it shows a little curved lines. Some of you are already connected, and that's fine. For those of you who aren't connected, if you click this down in the bottom right-hand corner, the one that looks like a monitor with something to the side of it, I think a cord. If you click that, that'll bring up your wireless. And this is pretty well a true idea if you got a laptop and you go anywhere, you go to McDonald's, you click there and it'll bring up the connections. So you can connect your laptop or whatever if you have one, wherever you're at.
Went to a percentage and then what? Battery settings. This one.
It's like a monitor.
The next one, internet. Okay.
So are there ways to make sure that you're safe when you're on other, somebody else's Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I'll talk about ways. So after we do some formatting on here, I'll forget otherwise. Okay, so yeah, if you click that mouse, we want to choose so we can have some internet connection. And you should see one that says Kali guest. And it should say open. So go ahead and choose that one if it isn't already chose. Now, what would be a good picture for my example?
Great big
Hi.
lemon meringue top.
Exactly. So now if I choose this insert option up here, there's different choices. Specifically, there's one that says online pictures. I did back until my cursor is on the first character. I think I hit mine 3 times. Oh. Yeah. So now if I choose online pictures, you do have to have connection to the internet, which is why I had you connect to Kali Guest. Now when it says search Bing, Bing is a search engine from Microsoft, so it looks for images. So I'm going to type in apple pie. Might be too specific. I might just have to do pie, and then I'll press enter. Now, it probably doesn't have anything to do with anybody in here, because nobody's going to sue you for putting up a flyer, volunteer organization, or whatever organization you're involved with. But this Creative Commons means it's free to use. It means they're not going to sue you if you use it. For example, putting the Batman logo up there, that's copyrighted. And if I put it up on Kali's website, Kali would fire me probably, and if they didn't get sued in the meantime. Now down here, you see there's also a color. If you don't got a color printer, then maybe you want to choose black and white. Don't know. But I'm going to choose, what am I going to choose? Which one? Choose this one. So once you click that, it'll put a little check mark in the upper left-hand corner. So it doesn't matter what image you pick. And then you click the insert. Yeah.
And nobody in town sells pie, I don't think it's that tasty, do they?
I've been racking my, because I want to take a good pie, and my wife has volunteered to cook one, but she's not a real good cook.
This is all.
What's her email?
Yeah, that's true. I'm recording this. She won't deny it though. But then again, I'm no good at, I can't nail a nail in straight, and so it works out well. Now this is kind of big. Maybe it might be appropriate though. Maybe I want it that big. But let's say I didn't. If you haven't clicked off of your image you just brought in, you see how there's little white circles in the corners? Those allow you to resize. So if you put your mouse over one of them, it'll become a double arrow, black. And if you click with your left mouse button and hold down, and then drag it in toward the middle, it'll make it smaller. If we get
One of my images came in with his license.
It's amazing. Some people get real picky about it. Some of the people I've contacted about using their images for like the program, they're fantastic about it. And then other ones just like, oh no, you can't use our image in any sense. There's a guy that lived in Mulvane, and I don't know his name. I'm assuming his name was Batman, but he had Batman Motors. He passed away, and on his tombstone, he has a Batman logo. And I'm sure he didn't get permission from DC, but I can't imagine they'll come back to the family and say you can't do this. But it's funny, if you ever drive by Mulvane, the cemetery out east of town, you'll see his tombstone with the Batman logo on it. So, but yeah, Creative Commons, you do have to worry about that in some cases.
Well, I didn't think they were gonna find this, so I decided to download this is owned by.
Right. Okay, so after you get that resized or whatever you want, now we're going to do a little bit of formatting. So I'll come back up here to Pie for Dads. And if I want to highlight that entire row, I could click to the right of it with my left mouse button and drag and highlight it in that manner. That's one way. Another way you can do it is, you see what my cursor is? Now it's like a black eye, looks like. If I move it clear to the left, you see how it becomes a white arrow? So it's a black eye right now. And if I move clear to the left, it becomes a white arrow. If you click while it's a white arrow, that'll very quickly select the entire line. You get that? You just go to the left of the line until it becomes a white arrow, and then you click with left mouse click. No?
Oh, I see. I was too highlighting. You put a chair out here and it turns into a white arrow like this. Put a chair out there.
Yeah, those are fantastic for undoing and redoing. Sometimes you have to really redo it. No, you're doing it right. You just click and hold down your left mouse button and move toward the middle. You keep moving.
Just going up and using that. That's small. Because I want, it has such tiny little corners size.
Sometimes your image comes in so big that you can't find the little circle over here. But you click any circle, like if you do one in the upper left-hand corner, start moving it in, you can eventually get to the right
But
side.
if you don't use the corner ones, you distort the picture.
Yes, that's exactly right.
More sort of time.
Yeah, you can't mess anything up. That's a neat part of it, because you do the Control Z just to keep on doing it. And plus, if you haven't saved it, no matter what you've changed, just close it, don't save it, and then when you open it, it'll be back to its original. So it's pretty hard to mess it up.
I wish I would have known Control Z. I wish I would have known the very first thing I learned was Control Z.
It's
Control Z to undo something, some mistake or something. Yeah, I make mistakes and especially at first, there's a bunch of them.
and you'll find that Control Z will work in many different applications. Like if you're on a web page and you just type the 2 paragraphs and you deleted it by accident, a lot of times when you do Control Z, it'll put it back. So now I got this highlighted, and so I'll come up here and I could choose one of these options. You know, this is a subtitle there. Here's what a title looks like. That's over in the under the Home tab, and under the styles over here. You see the one that has the bold A, little a, and bold B? If I choose that one, then that'll make it as a title. Now, that doesn't mean you can't change stuff after you do that. For example, if I want that to be a certain color, remember the A right here with whatever color you see underneath there? Mine's blue, but yours will be a different color. You can choose the down arrow to the side of it. And I'm going to choose red. We also looked at this text effects. You could, this is the A with a, I don't even know what that's called in English. Block A? Is that a block letter? But if you choose that and choose a down arrow there, you can give it a certain look. Actually, I kind of like that, even with the color.
I'm having a very evil thought.
What?
You could make this flyer and event starts at 7 p.m. and show up at the day. Post this someplace and everybody be going, where do we go?
Yeah, I don't say which day, do I?
No.
That's
This something.
I should put an S here too. Starts at 7 p.m. Sunday, 6/16? 16th, yeah.
Times church starts 6 p.m.
They got 2 services. They got well, got 3 services really, but they got a Sunday school in the morning at 9:15. Services at 9:15. Yeah, 9:15, and then 10:30 is service, and they got 6 o'clock service.
Okay, gotcha.
I'd never been to the 6 o'clock service. I went there last Sunday and the morning one, and it was interesting. It was more personal, the evening service. Liked it. So, okay, event starts at 7 p.m., so forth. So I got that selected. Well, it's not centered, so maybe I want to center it. So again, to select the entire line, although you don't need to for center. Some of these formatting apply to the entire line. So if I just didn't have it highlighted, I just clicked somewhere in there. If I come up here, under the paragraph, this is the next item I wanted to show you is you can left align with this one right here. You can center it here. You can right align it here. And then you can do this justify, which is like a newspaper. Remember how newspapers would left align it and right align it, and then adjust the spacing? That's what that is. But I'm going to choose the center. You notice I didn't have to have it highlighted. I tend to get in the habit of highlighting it before I center, but you don't have to. If I chose the newspaper, the justify, maybe I'm lying to you. I thought that was the distribute your text evenly between the.
line full of information to do that.
Is it just because I don't have enough there then?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, because it sure implies it. Distribute your text evenly between the margins. Okay, I'll do center. I don't want to type more there. I was wondering if it put one of my characters in a bunch of space and another character in a bunch of space. And I figured if it did, it would look bad. But yeah. Now, if I select that entire line, and again, the very easy way is go over to the far left and you click that when it's a white arrow. Then there you can select some of these other ones. Text highlight color. If you want to change font color, I'm going to do the text highlight color. I'll choose green. We'll center now.
Goes to justify.
Choose, there it goes.
That was it. Wouldn't say her.
Yeah, anyway.
And boy, my English is really bad here. It will be slices of pie for Dad. We will have slices of pie. Now I'm clicking wherever I want to make changes at. And I'm doing a backspace to get rid of that. That's true. It's good church.
Oh, down there, it does say,
She was worried about what everybody else was gonna do while Dad was eating the pie.
Oh. Yeah, they had a church on the lawn a couple weeks ago, but it was raining, so they had it in a little kitchen area. I didn't go to it, but because I wasn't going to sit out in the sun. After getting a melanoma cut on my arm, it's just like, I avoid the sun like the plague now. I did, but then they added in the kitchen after.
Is your church in North Kansas City?
No, it's in Derby, Calvary Baptist. It's if you knew Derby, it's on Patriot. I think that's Patriot Street there. So, let's see. After church service Sunday, we'll have celebration of families. You will have slices of pie for Dad. Okay, that's probably not bad font wise. Now this, maybe I want to bold. Maybe I want to make that stand out. So again, you click to the right of it or to the left. It doesn't matter where you start at. You just hold down your mouse, your left mouse button, and you move it, and it'll highlight whatever you traverse over.
What are we gonna do to it?
I'm gonna make it bold, just make it stand out a little bit. Make it italics. Right, the B up here is bold, and the I is for italics. Maybe I'll even underline it, the U.
Trying to highlight the B on that little box that comes up above it.
Right. what she's saying is that whenever you highlight something, like if I highlight this, instead of going up here, well, when you highlight something, it immediately pops up with this formatting here. So it tries to intelligently tell what you want to do. And only puts options up here that are appropriate to what you have selected. So that's kind of a nice feature. I'm not sure why that disappears when I move my mouse off it, though. I guess I can right-click and get it to come back. Okay, so we got a decent one here. Maybe the pie should be centered. I don't know. To center the pie, you just click the pie and you click the center button. That'll center it. Okay, so now I want to save this. You probably want to give them names that are meaningful. Since we haven't saved it to begin with, you notice up here in the top it says document 2. Well, if I click file and I click save, now you'll see different items come up here. Yours will look different than mine. This is a student's computer, so it looks like this is what they were working on last. You see the browse option? If I click the browse, this will pop up with this save as window. Now, you can really get lost on your computer home. There's so many folders and so forth. The best place to store it at is a folder that says Documents. Over here on the left side, you should see a quick access, and you should see Documents under it. Now, if your quick access isn't expanded, like if I click this arrow to the left of it, it may look like this. So you may have to click that greater than sign there, that arrow, to expand it. But you want to choose Documents. And once you click on Documents, it'll pop up with this, which is where mine was already. But if yours doesn't go into Documents, that's how you reposition it. And down here, you see how it tries to guess what the title should be? This is based upon your first line of code. You see how mine says Pie for Dads? And then I just simply click the save down here. Now this is saved just on this computer. So if you go to a different computer, you go to another computer in the room, you will not see it on there. They have these little flash drives you can buy down at Walmart. They're like some of the cheap ones are $10. Depends on what you want to do with it. If you're going to do a lot of work for your organization, I'd buy the good one. You know, I don't want to put in hours worth of work and buy the cheapest flash drive there is and have it fail after 2 months. You know, I'd rather buy the pricier one and have it last for 2 or 3 years. Now, if I wanted to, next year comes around and it's Pie for Dad's Day again, but I need to update this, but I want to keep this as history. After you open a file, then you can save it as another name. So if you do a file, here's a save as. And once you do that, then it comes up here and you see that there's a current folder, Documents. Today, this is all the folders you went into. I'm just going to click this current folder, Documents here. And then down here, you'll see a file name. And for Pie for Dads, I'm going to put on the end of that, I'll put 2020 for next year. You see there's a .docx on mine. I'm not sure if that's on everybody's. Probably is. We'll talk more about that later. But I put it before the .docx. Can't put it after. and then I click save. Everybody get their item saved? Okay. Now, we've looked at the new now. We haven't looked at the open, but we will. We looked at the save. We looked at the save as. There's a print here. So let's say you're getting ready to print it. I don't think any of you, some of you's computers might be hooked into that printer, but probably not. If and again, what I'm doing is I chose the file option right here. And then I choose print. Now this is kind of a nice feature. I'm gonna show you where you can see this elsewhere too. That doesn't look good, does it? A lot of white space down here. So after you do that, you say, whoa, I don't want to do that. That looks horrible. I need to work on my formatting a little bit. Plus, this is so small. While it looks good on your screen, if you put it on bulletin board, will anybody be able to see it? They won't, will they? There's some general guidelines you should use when creating an announcement. It has to be big. You know, you should be able to stand back maybe 5, if not 10 feet, and be able to read it. That's what really catches people's eyes. Versus a person just casually comes up to the bulletin board and just reads. You shouldn't have too many words. Have you ever seen an announcement that had tons of words? And fewer the better. Okay, I'm not going to print this since it's all messed up. So I'm going to click this arrow in the upper left-hand corner to exit out of that. And you notice that you get your Pie for Dads here. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see a scroll bar. Has an arrow up here, an arrow down here, and a bar in there. If you click the arrow, it'll scroll down. This stuff? Yeah. Okay. Like I say, these are all too small. So I'm going to increase the size of them. Now, if I click down here to the right of cafeteria and drag up and highlight those, that's one way you can select the text. You can also, over here on the left-hand side, when it becomes a white arrow, click and hold down and drag, and very quickly select those. Using this left bar over here where your cursor becomes a white arrow, this allows you to select things very quickly. Yeah, like if you come over, put your...
You click on the arrow and hold it down.
Right, and drag down.
Just click on the one. Use that app.
I just moved it. I moved it.
Just go back.
Okay.
Yeah, click before or after. Whoop. Not on A1, we don't want A1, we want after.
Just always, I can go down and
Yeah.
highlight all of it.
If you click there, click on it, and then move your arrow to the thing.
That'll work like that too. Yeah, there's multiple ways of selling.
That's not left.
That's it.
Won't move my motion.
Could you go to a place
Oh,
where
yeah.
we kind of able to do this a little bit? I have not had a computer working for a year, so I don't know what I'm just lost.
After your pie and all that.
I don't know. I know what I was doing.
That's weird. Man, your pie's completely done. I think you closed it up. Let me,
Don't worry about it.
oh no, let me get you going.
Just goes by and let me know.
Right.
It has a silly state, so.
Oh, it hasn't, okay.
That's what-
Let me create one. Oh, no, that's all learning. We all start off the same place.
Oh, I started out, you're behind.
Oh, you're doing good, trust me.
Is your printer even on, so we can fix it?
Well, they're not that big. You have to have an IP address. Let's see.
You have to install the driver too, don't you?
It actually installs itself. When you put the IP address, it's really cool.
Okay.
I just have to have an IP address to. Let's make it 7 PM, bring pie for everyone. And, let's see.
Tristan was still up out there.
You're doing fine. I'm gonna save that. Now I had, I taught the introduction to, what was it called? Introduction to microcomputers class way back when. The first time I taught it, I had 5 people that couldn't click a mouse. And, one woman, she never could master that double click. So you're doing fantastic. I mean, you couldn't even compete against this lady. Bless her heart, so she was there to learn, you know. And, yeah, she just, finally, they couldn't get her to double click fast enough. So faster. So then she couldn't get it fast enough. I said, just click one time, press enter. Now, stick your mouse over here to the side of that, the white arrow. And hold down and drag that down. Go controls, or do the. Click over here with your mouse and left mouse click and hold down and drag that down. There you go. Now we got them all sides.
Yeah. Well, I have.
Yeah, that was a 3-hour class, and I left so tired at the end of that I felt each night like I needed to crawl out. The one with 5 people couldn't click a mouse. The next time I taught it, I only had 2 people couldn't click a mouse, and that was fantastic because I put them right beside each other and I stood behind them the entire time. But 5 people going back and forth was challenging. But you know, it's just like none of them were, you know, they weren't being. It's just everybody starts off same place. You don't know, so you're learning. Okay, so I got these highlighted. Remember up here we got this big A, and then we got this this littler A. And if I choose this big one that says increase font size, this will make it bigger, like that. Now this will be based upon whatever you got selected. And that might be a little bit better now. Now again, how we can do that is we simply go to the file print. I still don't like it. It's better. I'm gonna do the back. And I'm gonna press enter after some of these. So I'll press click after dad, press enter. I'll click here and press enter a couple times. I think I want to highlight these, make them a little bit bigger.
Which is the one that says increase font size?
That's this, you see where your font is and the size? To the right of it is the big A. So whatever you have highlighted, it'll affect.
There we go.
You get it? Okay. Okay, now if I do a file print, that's not too bad. I don't know what these would look like. It's hard to see on the screen. If I put this on a bulletin board, would I be able to really see it for 5 feet back? But definitely, I'm guessing people would be able to see this pie for dads, wouldn't they? And so I'd catch their eye and I could walk over, or they'd walk over then and read it. The what? Yep, that's perfect. So that gives us an idea what it looks like. And so then we can go back, so we won't print, and then we'll be back. Now, down here, we have some buttons. This first one, if I put my mouse over it, is read mode. So if I click that, this is for reading purposes. So if you have a Word document you want to read, then you can choose that. This one right next to it says print layout. This is what it's going to look like when it prints. Now I think this is web layout, and I have no clue what web layout. I really haven't played with that. I think it's if you're going to save it as a web page. But the print layout is the main one you use. Now the zoom feature here. If you change the zoom right here,
Why do you get on that? Full page on this.
now when you change the zoom here, this shows you exactly what it'll look like on a piece of paper. So that's another feature for the zoom. It might be too small for you to work with at this point, but it's not too small for you to change your fonts or whatever. Like maybe I can make this picture bigger, right? If you make it too big, you see what it did? It just put it on the second page. So that's about as big as it's going to get in terms of being on this first page. If you made something too big to begin with, and it's going to a second page, this is changing that zoom, such as smaller, would allow you to work on it. Like here, if I press delete, I probably got a little bit more space to make this bigger. Remember, to make a picture bigger, you click it one time, and then put your mouse over the white circle in one of the corners until it becomes a double black arrow. You click and hold down your left mouse button. You can make it bigger like that. I'm not very good at these, but mine's actually starting to look halfway decent. This might be something I would, except for the green. I know that green probably is horrendous. Now, it doesn't automatically save. So if you get to a place where you like what you have, you see up here in the upper left-hand corner, it looks like a little diskette. If you've worked with computers for a while, WordPerfect days, I'm sure you've seen it. The little diskette used to be, you probably didn't work with WordPerfect for DOS, did you?
Yes.
Yeah, remember the diskettes where you'd load in a program, and yeah, that was before the Windows version of WordPerfect. You'd have to load in your diskettes and then load the program, and then you could save the, yeah. But anyway, that's what that's supposed to be, is a save. So if you click that, that'll save it for you.
Is that in save as or just save?
You can do just a save, or you can click this diskette in the upper left-hand corner.
I just lost it. There we go. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that first flyer we created? We're going to create another flyer, and I'll rip off the church again because I'm just out of fresh ideas. So I'm going to close this. Now, how you close something is you do a file and then close. Now, if it hasn't been saved, it'll prompt you. It'll say, hey, you haven't saved this. And so it gives you a chance. You want to click OK or save or whatever it says. Very good. I need that. See, that isn't anything you've done. Let's see here, just type word.
What?
A word. Perfect. And you click the word 2016 on there.
What?
This right. And then click blank document. Yeah, well, we all are.
All right, that's fine.
Now, I'm going to close this too because I got that first one open. So I'm going to do a close on that. I don't want to save that, so I'll click Don't Save. Okay, so now we don't have any documents open. If I do a file, so I click the file up here, and I click New. New. Then when it pops up here, you want to choose your first one, your blank document. And I got this pretty small because I've zoomed. Specifically, I zoomed in. So I'm going to click this plus to zoom out so you can see it a little bit better. If yours is small and you're having trouble seeing it when you type, you can adjust that zoom at any time. Now, they have something called Keenagers at church for people 50 and over. They go on trips once a month. And so I'm going to have several images on there. Now, you can have images float. You can have your pictures float around Word document. I don't like that because whenever I try to move it, it shifts text and just it's not very, I think, easy to work with. Some people love floating images. You have a feature. You see there's an insert tab here, and there's a table option. And we're going to insert a table. So again, click your insert tab up here. And under the table, you see there's a drop down arrow. And if I click the right underneath that, it'll put a bunch of boxes on the screen. Now I'm going to plan 4 events. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to highlight 4 rows and 2 columns. Now when I highlight those, it's kind of a very subtle change. You'll notice that they turn orange or yellow or whatever that color is. So you can see which ones.
You put them in 2 times how many?
I put 4 rows and 2 columns. And then you click, and that'll put a table in there.
Wow.
Now this Saturday they're having a mystery trip. So I'm going to type mystery trip in this first cell. Now I'm going to go over to this second cell here and do an insert. And I hope Online Pictures doesn't make it a floating picture. I don't think it will based on what I've seen. But I'm going to choose Online Pictures again. And I need something for a mystery. Mystery or question mark. I check that box is a good one. So I'll choose that box and I click insert.
Type something in.
I tell you, Mr. Oh, I didn't look that. Yes. Yes. That's so. I can't tell you because I'm not.
Do a cancel. Go ahead and cancel it.
Oh, there's.
Now do an insert and we're choose online.
So let's start over. Okay. Insert. What'd you do? You typed in mystery.
Mystery.
And when you hit search,
Just stick it on your right side.
That round.
that's what I did.
Line.
That's what I did. Try again.
Insert, insert,
Look, look,
insert.
I'm gonna insert
Picture.
online pictures.
Okay. So now type mystery here. you put the
I like,
magnifying glass, search,
Sherlock Holmes.
and you can choose whichever one you want. Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna do
And then
that
click the insert button.
history machine.
There you go.
Hit insert. Oh, boy, that makes it a little bigger.
oh. Look here, I see insert.
Oh, yeah.
Right on the other side.
Now, if I remember right, about all the events were food related, so they must like food. I haven't been on one of these. So down here in this second row, in the second cell, I'm gonna type barbecue venture. I really don't remember besides this weekend what the other ones were. They're all food related from what I could see.
I think mine ended up floating on top of the, on top of,
Really? See, I hate floating images.
yeah, I wanted it in, like you said. I think it ended up floating.
Now you can,
I lost my line.
if you right click on that image and you cut, so you do an edit cut. Let me show you. I forget who had floating images the other day. I just cut it and paste them right back in.
Oh, here's that, okay.
And then do your then your home, and then paste the drop down. Then choose paste special. And then choose choose picture and yes,
I got back. I don't know.
Ah, it's in there now, rather than, you know,
That's interesting.
what,
The
it was a lot of space.
yeah. Let's see this. That's so small. Dual control Z. Wait.
That's floating, right?
No.
Oh,
No, you're.
oh, okay. Well, with the bars outside of it, I thought that's what.
Now floating, I'll show you an example for you here.
Okay. So then the barbecue and chicken.
Now I'm going to click in the first cell now. I want to alternate the images. It's about as good as I get for being creative. So I'm going to click here. Now I want to put another image there.
You want to put another what?
Another image.
Oh,
But what are we going for this time?
I don't know.
insert.
I think I'm going to just type barbecue because that'd be a safe.
Whatever you want to put in there.
Okay, so I'll choose this one and click insert. That came in pretty big.
Yeah.
Yours may not be, depending upon which one you chose. But remember, after you bring it in, if you got the picture selected, then if you put your mouse in the upper right-hand corner, up left-hand corner, one of the corners, till it becomes a black arrow, you click and hold down and move. Then you can resize it like that. And we're going to do a lot of changes to this after I get all 4 images in there, so we can get to fit on one page. That'll be a challenge. There's a chicken run. They were having a chicken night, I think, at the church. So again, I'm gonna come over here. I'll do an insert. And I'll choose online pictures. Type chicken. Choose that one. And click insert. And again, it came in too big. So make that smaller. And I think there was an ice cream social or something. And so then,
What chicken you got there?
I got a care over.
okay. And ice cream.
I've got him killed on the right side, chicken running and the chicken on the right side.
You're too big, you got it on 2 pages, which is gonna change here.
Went to the next page.
We're gonna just set in just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll put the barbecue. So put that one. That's sometimes hard to. Click one more time. That's weird. Usually it checks marks in there. Look up in that checkbox. There. One more time. Bizarre. Hit cancel. Okay. And now choose your insert online pictures. Right here. Type, click in the search Bing box.
Mexican chicken.
Is that barbecue?
That's Paris.
Oh,
Now click that. Then click insert.
We don't like to see that army in Mexico.
That's a little bit big.
And he,
So we're gonna put our mouse in the upper left right hand corner there, so it becomes a black arrow. And then you click and hold down and move it in toward the middle of the image, get it small.
and that was where we understood.
Mhm.
And they had 8 chickens.
Okay. And then down here, click in that cell there. And I don't remember what the next one was. It was chicken. So we'll choose insert again.
And then he ate it, and they offered him another one.
And choose online pictures again.
But he knew he was eating their food.
And then search Bing.
Oh, yeah. And the guest eats first. And then
Press enter.
the older one, and then the kid.
There you go. And it doesn't matter which one you pick.
And he was a kid.
Yeah.
Kids are good.
That's a little bit big. So again, you put your mouse in the upper right hand corner. And then click and hold down to the left mouse button. And bring that in. So you have mastered something that that poor lady couldn't get in 16 weeks time. She could not use the mouse to where she could bring that in. So if you think you're bad at computers, not bad at computers, you're doing fantastic. Now, we want to change the size of things to get it to appear on one page. And it doesn't matter if you don't have all of your images in, you'll see the idea. Now, remember the zoom in the bottom right-hand corner. If you click the little dash over here, you can change it so you can see it all on one page.
You got some more stuff.
Yep.
It's bottom.
Oh, you got ice cream in the bottom.
Yeah, Ice Cream Social. The zooming.
Well, you need to use a slide rule or
Oh, there, look below.
Sometimes it does that when you're changing things in the Word, and all of a sudden it just disappears completely, and you, where in the world did it go to? Now I'm gonna adjust my pictures, and these three look like about the right size, but my barbecue guy is pretty big. So I'm gonna click the barbecue guy one time. When you do that, it becomes the little white circles around it. And now if I click one of the corners and drag it in toward the middle, I can make it a smaller size. And I'm going to just adjust all of them to whatever I think is appropriate. It'll be frustrating because it'll pop back and forth from one page to 2 pages as you resize them. That's where you just do your insert online pictures.
you try to start on
I think I must have missed something.
About what?
online
The zooming part? Now, how I got the for the page to appear, like see the entire page, is I just changed it.
Right. I thought you had done some stuff on this, that's. what-
Oh, no, I haven't.
Okay.
What I did is I kept adjusting it, because I was trying to make all the images the same size, but I didn't want 2 pages. Even though there's a second page under it's blank.
Yeah.
You click the image one time.
Oh, okay.
And then you can make it bigger, smaller, whatever you want. Now, for my purposes, I'd probably like the images centered. So when you click an image, if you go back to the home, that's this home tab right here, you can choose the center, and that'll center the image. This one I'm gonna click, and I'm gonna click my center. This one I'll click, and I'll click my center. And that one I'll click, and I'll click my center. Now this image is not inside your tab. What you can do is you can click this with the left mouse button and drag it and drop it in.
Oh,
And that's
you
it.
get rid of that bar there. I haven't figured out why. It looks to me like there's something behind the pig. What it is.
We'll do it. We'll see. There you go. Now click in the middle and hold down the left mouse button and drag it. There you go. Oops. Wrong cell, the right idea. So now you click it again and drag it, and you can drop it down. Now you have to click in the middle. So that you can drag it.
Or this whole right here.
Yeah, perfect.
I need help. Send me that one. And send me that one.
Or,
This one does not seem to want to send it. That's all not a choice.
okay.
And before you got here, there was more than one little wire around that thing, and that one doesn't want to send it.
And remove. Now, this free account update allows you to get a no-cost insurance.
Oh, wonderful.
Isn't that great? They sent 5 salesmen over
Like,
to
there's
talk
another-
to you.
I had one, and your credit account is fine, but we can lower your interest. They said, asked me to, we want to up your, coverage.
I don't know, I just.
For your,
Well, I can
got
switch
for
it
your
to this
vehicle, I had a 2002
And I
Toyota
can switch
Corolla.
Oh, no, switch it, they switch it from the phone.
Yeah.
You don't even know what. I have. I don't- I don't
See,
talk
then
to
I
you.
just switch it.
Okay, what did I miss?
This one here,
Mom,
became a floating picture.
That's the one I thought was floating at the beginning. Okay.
I think, is what I did on this one, is I clicked this, and then I cut it. So I got it out of there. And then I immediately did a paste special. And, what she was talking
Then I drove him.
But you got him up here beside the chicken. You don't have.
I like the little pig.
Now I'll talk about
That's because he's too big.
potentially why that is. You ever do that too?
I
She's
don't,
having trouble with her chickens.
I don't know, like there was a lot of those credit lines down here, that were wrong, so I got rid of that. But it's still left with the chicken in that framework. Somehow she's got rid of it.
Well, he got rid of that one for me. It was doing it. It had a different-
But I don't, like, I can switch it.
Right.
But that's not what I wanna do, and I don't know how that happens.
If I can do that. There's a crop tool.
Oh, I got the chicken.
If you select the chicken, and then you, where did we see that crop? Oh, here it is. So if you have your chicken selected, and you go to your Format tab, there's this crop feature here. And once you get that up, and you choose crop, then you see these black lines in there.
Right.
You can click those black lines and move them up so it'll get rid of that extra space.
Okay, but what I need to do is probably, not that, I need to get the.
I think I know what's
I don't
wrong.
know. His is too fancy for them.
They have this big thing around it telling us that it belongs to someone.
You're right, and that's what I can't get rid of. This is okay, but see the.
Oh, press delete. See if I can. No, no, no.
That's mine good. And I pressed delete that.
You got rid of the whole chicken.
Hers got rid of this, actually. Went undo. See if the crop will work.
But I had it around the chicken, but what I need to do is go to this thing.
Now, where's the crop? Oh, I see.
Going to the,
See, this is where the text was about that.
Mhm.
And I deleted the text.
yeah, the, maybe copyrighted images you
I
can
don't know.
really work with.
Well, you got rid of that one with the copyrighted, apparently. Because it had stuff behind I'm sure they fixed it, so it's not easy to do.
Let me see.
I would really quit trying to work with it, but
I had 2 formats. It's strange. It's crop. Crop is, I don't know. I'm gonna cut that. And right here. There's something else there, so we'll just leave that. And we'll go case special. Back in is this. Now. Crop.
There's pictures of a guy that will do something.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's squishes the chicken.
Oh, that's not. The black is what you need to select. I just don't know how you get to the. Over here, you're up the other side. I don't know. I'll have to play with that. I don't got an answer right now. But a crop is how you should be able to get rid of the white space, but I don't know how you get to the right grab that little black bar. Right, because it puts that white space on at the end.
there's a place to make each one of these cells the same size too, isn't there? Or is it?
There might be. I never have done that. Let's see. Copy that. Paste it in here. Well, I can push the crop tool out, but now I don't know how to get back. I'll find out an answer for it next time.
You know, take the left side. and move it in.
I do, but see, it's so far off, it's off the page.
No, just take the left side and move it to the right.
Well, see, it's more the crop tool that we're trying to, like in her, she's got a lot of white space over here.
Right.
And you can go to the crop tool here. And then these little black bars, if you grab the black bars, this will get rid of the white space. But see, if I move it from that side,
I see.
but I've got to find a way to grab it on here when it's off the page. And I'll have to play with that. I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay, I think I figured it out.
How do you get it?
Well, first of all, I kind of did what he said. I just made that first column, that left table, I just moved it all the way over, so it's about as wide as my finger now. And then you can get the other end of.
Oh, so you can see that other side.
You can see the other side, and then you crop that, and now I should be able, I hope, to move back.
Oh, okay.
Back yet, though.
Yeah, I never thought about that, because if you change the entire size of it,
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
you should
that
be
works.
able to get to that right-hand side.
Yeah, that works.
And when you do your crop, then, well, there's crop. Yeah, then you can get to the black. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, the last thing I need to do is make this text bigger. So you can highlight this by clicking to the right of it, hold down your left mouse button, drag it. And I can come up here and I can choose a font size. I can do the center. Barbecue Venture, do a center. Choose a font size. Center, choose a font size. There, center, font size. I could do a little more tweaking on that, but that's pretty much what I was looking for.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I would like to put, I'd like to put that barbecue venture right in the middle of that instead of,
If I click, like in the upper left-hand corner here, you see how when I put my mouse there, it becomes a black arrow?
yes,
And I click that, it highlights the entire cell. You see there's well, not that. Here it is. It's under the layout then.
oh, yeah,
And maybe you don't even have to have it highlighted. Maybe if you just in this cell, if you go to layout, yeah, it is right. And you see how there's insert columns to the left? That's this one right here.
insert left, yes.
If you choose that, it'll put a new column in there. If you want 3 columns.
I don't, I just want to put barbecue
You just want to split the cell?
in the middle of the cell.
Okay. Then you see how there's a split cells here? And number of columns, 2, number of rows.
I know in Excel, you've got a place where it will hit the middle of a cell. But, this way.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if that has that in Word.
If you
I don't
split,
see it.
see if you split cell, and I'm currently in this cell, number of columns, number of rows, I got 2 columns, 1 row. If I click OK, then it'll do this.
And that's not what I want.
That's not what you want? Well,
I want barbecue to be on the barbecue to be even with the ear of the cooker. I don't want all that empty space below venture.
oh, okay. You can. This may not do it, but you press enter, and it'll throw it too far down. But now if I come up here
Oh, I see.
and I select this first line, and I start changing the font size,
That's it.
then you can line it up. Now that's a very crude way to do it.
Yeah.
There's also a way to align it vertically, which we'll see. But that's based on what we know already.
So you can do what? You say you
See-
can align it vertically.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. How to come back again.
You have to remember how to align it vertically. I don't usually do that. Guess the very crudest way is you just press enter, and then what is that?
I just want to make my font bigger.
And you have to do that first.
That is strange. There. That's not an answer to how you land it vertically, but I'll have to refresh my memory on that.
Okay.
So a lot of times when you right click on it, there's options there, but I don't remember that being in that option. Okay. Hmm.
Amazing.
Let me get rid of this cell now. Delete cells. No, merge cells. Yeah, I don't know. I have to explore that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And I'll click Documents, and I'll call this Teenagers. Someday I'll ask them what the K stands for. I know the E-nagers is based upon teenagers. It's like older teenagers is what the name is based upon. I don't know what K stands for. Now the question that was brought up, we just got a few minutes, and I want to address this, is how to be safe on the internet. And that's probably a 4-hour talk there, but just very briefly, if I'm gonna buy something, used to be I could find a website that was selling candles. It was really bad. Homesick candles. Okay, let me go to them. Arkansas candle. So I want to shop Arkansas candle, whatever that is. I want to click Add to Cart. Now, if I'm going to put my credit card in here, what's the important part on this web page that I should be looking for? HTTPS is part of it. If it says HTTPS up here and the padlock, exactly. If you do not see both of those, do not purchase something on there. Because if you don't see those on there, when you enter in your credit card information, it's going to cross as plain text. So if I'm a hacker and I'm sitting there reviewing what's going across, your credit card is going across as plain text. So I grab it, I grab everything I need, and I'm having fun at that point. I actually teach kind of like the ethical hacking class here at Cali, and I've used those utilities. And if it goes across as plain text, it's horrible. Now this one's safe. It looks like there's a padlock. Looks like there's an HTTPS, so that's decent.
So there's just nothing, or there's an open padlock with one side?
It'll be an open. I think. Well, I don't know. Let me see. I'll go to my website. You see how my website says not secure?
Yeah.
This is one I created for my math classes, and I'm not selling anything on it, so I don't care about it being secure. You have to pay to get that HTTPS and to get a site certification, and since I'm not selling anything, I'm not paying to get that. Now, if you click up here, it'll give you an indication your connection to the site is not secure. You should not enter any sensitive information on this site, for example, passwords, credit cards. So even if you're not buying something, if you're signing up for some kind of service, then you have to keep that in mind.
I have a circle with an eye.
Yeah, that's what this one has.
Oh,
But in addition, mine says not secure because I haven't
mine's-
purchased any of that.
mine's both counts, not secure.
And I would not have a Yahoo email account for any amount of money. My wife has one. Yahoo has a bad habit of getting hacked into. I've received 3 emails in the last 6 months of ransomware where they're threatening to send all my contacts. I guess they tell me that the webcam's been on and they've been photographing me as I've been doing inappropriate things on the internet. And it's like, no, I haven't. But the key to it is the password they put in there is my password for Yahoo, my old password. So when they were hacked into, they took everybody's information on Yahoo and they posted it out there on the black, I think it's called the black web. And so people buy those and then they send them. And some people really have been doing things inappropriate on their computer and they freak out when they see that email and then they pay the ransom. So Yahoo, if you have a Yahoo, probably if you just have a real secure password, then you're probably fine. But Gmail seems like it gets hacked into less. Have a different password for every account. Now that's easier said than done.
Wow.
It's actually more secure to put all your passwords on a piece of paper and post it on your monitor at home or keep it in your wallet than it is to have the same password on every site. Now, that may sound weird, but how many hackers are sitting there trying to pick your pocket to get your password? None, not a one. But if they can have one site that they get your password on, and that's the password you use for your Bank of America, for everything else, they're in. You know, they can go and try to get signed in to all those different sites and see which ones will let them in. So, now having said that, I have about 3 or 4 passwords I use, but I had a real scary moment one time when I lost my flash drive. And on my flash drive, I had saved some passwords. And I was in Texas at the time, and I went and I went down to use a computer down there, a little office area. It was a seminar I went to, and I left my flash drive down there. Went back to the seminar, and I realized an hour later, oh my God, I've left my flash drive down there, and I knew what was on it. I think I might even have some scanned in things with my social security number and so forth on the flash. Not very smart. I'm not always the smartest person. Went down there, couldn't find it. I was freaked out. Went to the front desk. They were almost no help. And I finally determined I was going to change all my passwords. So I went back to that room and started changing all my passwords and just to be on the safe side. And this lady came in. I don't think she could speak hardly any English, Hispanic. And I was telling her, you know, what I was searching for and so forth. And bless her heart, she went out. She found my flash drive. She came back with that flash drive. She was gone for about 20 minutes, came back with it. She got a $100 tip that day. She was happy as could be. She gave me a hug, and it was just like she'd never received a $100 tip, but she hadn't realized I even had some grades on there, which I don't do that anymore. But yeah, you got to be careful about that. We're out of time. So next time we'll continue more on with Word, learn some more formatting. Again, as we go through this, if you have any questions like how to be secure on there, then let me know and we'll answer those. There's other things besides that I'll talk about next time. But questions, anything?
I don't have a question, but I got a request.
Okay. What's a request?
Well, I'm secretary